Here is Oriol Dongmo from Portugal, 32 years old now. Giving that some real thrust. Second round throw for Dongmo, looking to improve on 18.62 in her opening round. And that was over 19 metres. That's the best throw of the competition so far, no doubt about it. Over 19.5 metres by the look of it. Threw a lifetime best in Munich at the European Championships last summer. And she likes the look of this, a quiet confidence about Oriol Dongmo. 19.28, a season's best in round two.
Big twitch there from Curly in 5. Slightly better start from Trayvon Bramell, but Curly moving smoothly now, beginning to get away. He's the biggest, he's the most powerful, he's the quickest tonight. 9.94 by Fred Curly. And what was the wind doing there? Plus 0.1, that was in still air. That is a brilliant run. Little twitch from him before the gun, but it was didn't require a recall. He had to work for it, there's no doubt about that. Boy, didn't really start getting a bit of daylight between himself and the rest until 50 or 60. Simbine it was who took second place, 9.99, and it is a new meeting record. Yet another meeting record. It's been one of those nights. And it's so promising with the World Championships just over 11 weeks away. What a summer we've got coming at us, as if last summer couldn't have been hard enough to top. Well, I think this year just might, with the clear long run of racing and good meets through to Budapest.
Well, they've asked for a really lively 56 first lap, 3:30 pace, and it'll be very interesting to see tactically what happens here. Baez in 4th place, Ingebrigtsen then calling the tune with just over 200 to go. Hoare in his slipstream, Naguse there in 3rd place. These three strung out. Habs, the Frenchman, in 4th place. Less than 200 to go as they come around the crown of the bend, and nobody's really making the mark. Ingebrigtsen looking supremely confident, and then just imperceptibly moves through the gears. Naguse has left it too late, surely. Coming up onto the shoulder of Ollie Hoare. He's fighting hard, the kick is there, but once again, the master reigns supreme, 3:32.60. He barely broke sweat.
Back to Che. 70.07 was his opener. Does he need to improve upon that? Well, he might have done with that 5th effort. He knows that they're beginning to get closer. They're closing in on him. But Che has responded marvelously. 70.32. He just eases away again. And now the gap between him and Stuhl is returned to being more than a metre. 70.32 to Stuhl's 69.21. Yanis Perez Hernandez next to go then. The Cuban. Only 21. Which is a 14.80 jumper. That was earlier on this season. In fact, earlier on this month. Just a week or so back by the Cuban. 4th at the World Championships last year, and that looks pretty useful. Have the Cubans unearthed yet another horizontal jump superstar here. Good on the board, and giving away very few centimetres, but it's incredibly demanding. Technically, really tough event to keep control of. And that from Perez Hernandez. She opened with 14.08, a round 2 effort, 14.84, and 14.84 from Perez Hernandez. That's the longest jump in the world this year. Superb.
This time, at the 3rd time of asking, we're away, and Holloway straight into his running. Such a brilliant technician. All the work done from the waist down. Devon Allen under pressure from Parchment. Broadbell going well. Broadbell putting... Oh, well, Broadbell gets it on the line. What a finish from Broadbell. The Commonwealth Games champion, who's steady as she goes through 70 metres, and in the end, in the last 10 metres, just came up on the shoulder of the double world champion. And it's the Jamaican who's picked the pocket of Grant Holloway. A rare defeat for the American. It's a meeting record. He's gone under the 13.12 of David Oliver set in 2016. But that is something of a shock.
Well, it certainly is after the first 50, and that brilliant start from Grant Holloway. I mean, he drove to that first barrier so hard. It was half a metre up at the first barrier and a metre up at halfway, and then he just seemed to run out of steam. Broadbell came back at him, the Commonwealth champion, catches him there about 5 metres out. He stays a metre ahead of Parchment and Allen, does Holloway. But what a shock there. Broadbell, brilliant running, and that is a season's best, as you said quite rightly, Chris.
Little gust of wind gets the athletes underway. 23 strides or thereabouts to the first hurdle, and it's a great start already for Delina Mohammed. Third from left of picture, already up onto the shoulder of Janine Russell. Also going well is Shamir Little in lane 4, but Delina Mohammed, a really good technician, is now feeling the presence of Rochelle Clayton to her left, and Rochelle Clayton has run a storming first 200 metres here into barrier 7 as they come into the home straight. Clayton starting to rock and roll, and Delina Mohammed has gone here. Shamir Little coming up on the shoulder and now attacks the 9th barrier, and away she goes. One more to negotiate. Also coming strong is Salmon on the inside. These three well clear. Shamir Little driving for the line. Let's keep an eye on the clock. 53.96 outside the meeting record. Well, Shamir Little ran a really solid 400 flat in Doha 3 weeks ago, 50.84 to get her campaign underway, and it is the American who comes through here in Rabat in the opening race, followed by not one, not two, but 3 Jamaicans, and in the end, well, Delina Mohammed was well out of it. She started well enough, third from left of picture. Clayton then took it on, but Shamir Littleton came through and got the victory.
Jackson third from left in the yellow spikes, very slow out of her blocks. Much quicker was Tamara Davis inside her in the headband. She's got a bit of running to do. Tamara Davis still leads at the moment, but now Sherika Jackson beginning to build her form. Remember, she is better at 400 metres as well as 200 metres, and she's beginning to ease away now. Coming through strongly in 4 is Strawn, who's finishing really strongly. Finishes a metre or so down. That winning time, 21.98. And that is a new meeting record by quite a margin. The 22-second barrier broken for the first time in this meeting. And actually it's the second fastest time in the world this year by St. Lucia's Alfred. Only she has run quick at 21.91. That was superb, and I tell you what, Sherika Jackson was a little sleepy out of the blocks, I thought. Came up very upright very quickly, didn't stay low, Chris. But once she got into a running after about 60 or 70, you got the impression she was just accelerating all the time.
3,000 steeplechase, 7.5 laps of the track, and almost as a statement of intent. Down the back straight, another barrier successfully negotiated, 200 to go. The crowd going absolutely wild here in Rabat. El Bakkali gritting his teeth, working really hard. Water jump for the last time, gets his shoes wet for the last time. Now 1 barrier to come. He's sizing himself up. Those green lights, the world record, just out of reach, but this is a brilliant performance. Cleanly done. El Bakkali off the last barrier. Let's keep an eye on the clock. He's going to be way under 8 minutes. 7:56.69. It's a new meeting record. He's blown it apart, and it's a new massive personal best for Sufyan El Bakkali. The crowd erupts, and Rabat and El Bakkali has delivered the 8th fastest all-time in the men's steeplechase. What a performance from the Olympic, World and Diamond League champion. He's flat on his back, and who can blame him? Brilliant, brilliant from El Bakkali.